or a bad week with the birth certificate?
I think Donald Trump has had a wonderful week.
A good week.
And let me tell you the reason why, Willie. All the people that have been complaining about the birth certificate until 2 weeks ago when he started pounding on the issue, what does it say about a man who's able to get the president of the United States to put this issue behind him when no one else could? Donald Trump did. Let me tell you about Donald Trump, too. He scares the hell out of the establishment Republicans. Rove, Krauthammer, and I like Krauthammer, Fred Barnes and all those guys, they talk out of both sides of their mouth. They're wanting leadership. I got to say this, Bill Cunningham, you and nobody else that cares about this country, how do you disagree with what Donald Trump is saying about the economy, what Donald Trump is saying about China, what Donald Trump is saying about Afghanistan? And you know what? George Washington dropped an F-bomb every once in a while. And I can say this, if Donald Trump wants to drop an F-bomb every once in a while in Las Vegas, I say Donald Trump drop an F-bomb, because maybe we need to stop re-electing over and over again these politicians like George Bush and Bill Clinton and Barack Obama who say everything. You listen to Eric Cantor, you listen to John Boehner, you listen to Harry Reid. It's all political doublespeak. Nobody calls it straight. And the American people are in desperate straits. We're bankrupt, Willie. Why? Because that's the kind of people we elect. We finally got somebody who's going to run for office who wants to say it straight, and we're going to attack the guy. And I want to can I make a major announcement, Willie?
Make a major announcement.
All right, Willie. I checked it out. Since I am your backup, since I am your Bill Plummer, because I am your Bill Plummer and I am on the weekends, it makes me the first major talk show host in this country to endorse Donald Trump for president. I'm all in. I'm pushing all the chips on the table. We need, of all these people that are going to run for president, there's only one who is talking straight with the American people, and it's Donald Trump. And those people that say, oh, he was a Democrat and he did this. Well, let me tell you something. Paul used to persecute the Christians till on the way to Damascus, he was converted and became the greatest disciple that the Christians ever had. So the bottom line is, Willie, Donald Trump it isn't even close. Donald Trump is the best candidate for president that the Republicans, Democrats, or independents have.
Look at it this way. Obama destroys jobs. Donald Trump creates jobs.
Exactly.
How many hundreds of thousands of people are working because of Donald Trump?
I rest my case. And Barack Obama got elected because he was, quote unquote, this celebrity guy. Well, let me tell you something. Donald Trump has celebrity oozing out of it. And by the way, do I like the way he lives? Do I like the gold ornaments in his apartment and all that stuff? No, Donald Trump is not my kind of guy on that level. But let me tell you something. Donald Trump has celebrity status that trumps, pun intended, Barack Obama's celebrity status. There will be Hollywood types. There'll be independent types. There will be some liberal Democrats out of New York. Guess who is big in the Jewish community? He led their parade in New York when the Jewish organization had their parade. He was their marshal. I'm telling you right now, Donald Trump, and people say, oh, he's changed his mind. Well, today he's pro-life. He's pro-jobs. He realizes China's our enemy. He wants to get us out of all these wars. What is Donald Trump saying, Willie, that's bad for the American people? Nothing.
I say this. We have to fundamentally change the direction we're in. And when your buddy Obama took office, he was nothing but a celebrity apprentice himself.
Exactly.
He had done nothing.
Nothing.
And he gets elected.
And you know what? That show, Celebrity Apprentice, which I stopped watching, but I watched it. I used to watch it. It just is on the wrong time because I watch HBO and Showtime on Sunday nights when I'm working. But let me tell you something. You know what that show also shows? He can make tough decisions. He sits there with his son and his daughter. He weighs the decision, and he'll make a tough decision. But, Willie, I ask this rhetorical question to the American people.
Ask it.
Who would you rather have president from 2012 to 2016? Barack Obama or Donald Trump?
Trump.
And you know what? I love what Ron Paul says. Can Ron Paul get elected? No. Can Mitt Romney get elected with this Romney care? Maybe, maybe not. Mike Huckabee, Sarah Palin aren't running. Michelle Bachmann, not the same stature. He is and he is overweight, but who cares? He's the 250-pound gorilla in the room. Can you imagine? Yeah, can you imagine Donald Trump, Willie, at these debates? Can you imagine him with all those Republicans?
I want to watch it.
I want to watch those debates. He's filling up rooms in New Hampshire. When he's going to New Hampshire, Willie, they're going to have to get a bigger room when he visits there. I mean, Donald Trump is talking straight. I mean, I challenge it. And you know what scares the hell out of the establishment?
I know
Republicans.
It scares me.
They scare the establishment because they don't control him. Karl Rove's not in the club car with Donald Trump. He doesn't need Karl Rove. So when these establishment political operatives go after him, it puts a bee in my bonnet.
Well, I tell you what, we'll see what happens. But
Am I fired up or what?
Well, a little bit. But the birth certificate is something we ought to get off the birth certificate and talk about gas prices,
of course,
China, OPEC, the southern border, deficit spending, Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, and get off the birth certificate.
Right, but don't you think it's nice we got the birth certificate behind us?
Done.
Donald Trump got the president of the United States to do what nobody else could do. I rest my case.
I'd like to see your birth certificate.
I have a birth certificate. I was born in Covington, Kentucky.
Can you prove it?
I can prove it. Dr. Stevens delivered me. I was the sixth child. I'm the third son of 7 sons, which makes me a fortunate son, of Mary Sue and Charles Hugo Dieters.
How do you know that?
I was born 47 years ago in August.
Do you recall that?
Of course I recall the moment.
You recall
no,
getting
I don't.
born.
You know,
I don't recall getting born.
The first moment that I can recollect, I was either 2 or 3. This is a true story. Riding in the back of a GMC dump truck on the way out to our new house in southern Kenton County. I remember that. That's the first memory that I remember.
Well,
but anyway, Donald Trump. I am for Donald Trump. And I think I'm the first major talk show host
personality
to come out and say Donald Trump for president. And by the way, Willie, I'm on tomorrow from noon to 3. This will be
gotta be
barring some
catastrophe.
This is going to be my subject for my 3 hours.
Well, I understand Scott Sloan may endorse tomorrow Sarah Palin.
We know what's up with that. You know why he's doing that?
Because she's good looking.
Yeah, I got to ask you this, Willie. What do you think? Seriously, what do you think of Donald Trump?
I'd vote for him in a heartbeat.
Better than Obama.
He'd be more entertaining, more
Absolutely.
fun. And he would talk to the red Chinese. He'd talk to OPEC.
Right.
He'd tell the Mexicans what the hell to do.
Exactly. All the things that you and I are bashing on the radio, he's right with us. Why should we support the guy?
Well, considering the alternative, the Republicans are going to put up nobody.
No.
I can see Mitt Romney running for the presidency, which is okay, but how boring will the debate be between Romney and Obama?
And you and I all, in reality, you and I both know that every single person running on the Republican ticket would be light years ahead of Barack Obama.
Yeah, everyone.
But the issue is getting elected.
Well, let's take a short break.
Right.
We'll continue till 2:30, then the Stooge Report. And also former coach Steve Muller is here to advise me on whether to accept the assistant job as an 8th grade girls basketball coach at Deer Park High School.
He looks like an important...
He was an old coach himself.
He looks like an athletic director and coach.
He knows what a coach goes through, and I don't know whether to accept this important position or not. I wanted to be the head coach, but Rob Heyman, the AD, said, no, you got to spend 3 years as an apprentice.
Donald Trump forever, Barack Obama never.
Well, let's continue with more till 2:30 with the dog, then the Stooge Report with Coach Steve Muller and many others on News Radio 700 WLW. All right, Billy Cunningham coming up in about 10 minutes is a major announcement from the Greater Cincinnati Basketball Hall of Fame. And, dog, this could serve as the basis of the second book on me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, when we do Bill Cunningham, Willie, Radio's Great American, Volume 2.
Volume 2.
We'll be able to put in there about this great election of you in the Hall of Fame and your second Marconi Award and all the other things, your television show going. I mean, Willie, by the time your life is over, you're only 60 years old, aren't you? 62. By the time your life's over, you know, John Marshall wrote like a 10-volume biography of George Washington. I am very confident when it's all said and done, Willie, you will probably have 8 to 9, maybe not quite 10 like George, but probably 8 volumes of Willie, Radio's Great American, Volume 8.
Now, before we go any further, one other quick question.
Sure.
What is your view about Allen West of Florida, who was booed off the stage? We have a couple of people calling about him. I've had him on the Sunday night show a couple of times. A brilliant congressman, African-American.
Right.
He was the guy in Iraq.
Right.
Who told his guys to get that information from that terrorist about to kill my guys.
Correct.
And they charged him with, like, torture.
Right.
And Allen West, you take Rubio.
Oh, my God, he's a great congressman. He's articulate. He can speak. You know, he's wonderful. I've heard him, speak on television. How can you boo that guy?
Well, they did.
I think it's an outrage. And you know what? I love this, too. This is hilarious. They're like this birther issue. They're injecting racism. Well, how about this? How come the presidential candidate, the guy that owns Godfather, they say he's racist. He's black. What about West? It cracks me up that he's racist too. They accuse black men of being racist if they don't agree with their agenda.
Well, charges of racism is the last refuge of real scoundrels.
Absolutely.
So, all right, dog, we got to run. It's good to have you here.
It's great to be here, Willie.
Have you had some tea? Have you had a little scones?
Yes, I've had some scones or stones.
And
I've had some tea, yes. I've seen the madam here.
And no, it's a Duchess, not a
Duchess.
madam.
Excuse me. My apologies. The Duchess. The Duchess is here.
I saw the madam last night on Showtime, this expose of this Mustang
By the
ranch.
way, I love the top hat. You look very good, very English.
Well, we got pictures. If you go to the station website, you can see all the photos.
Despite our Scotch-Irish heritage, I still like the Brits, too.
I like the Brits until they burned the
They're
Capitol.
hardy. They stood alone, Willie, for an entire year against Adolf Hitler and Nazi Germany. For an entire year, they were alone against Nazi Germany.
The Blitz.
That's right.
I can recall that. Well, dog, are you going to have a little crumpet before you
I'm going to have a crumpet before I go. I have to go to a very important meeting at 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
Yes.
You'll be there.
All right.
Let's take a short break. And hold on a minute. Coming up next is going to be Coach Steve Muller of the Greater Cincinnati Basketball Hall of Fame.
Noon to 3 tomorrow, Willie. Donald Trump for president. Donald Trump, the first major talk show host in America to get behind Trump.
Well, Sarah Palin is about to be endorsed by Scott Sloan and Michelle Bachmann by Tracy.
He's part of a duo, so he's not major.
Well, he is.
He's half of a show.
He's half of a half. It's a half show, and he's a quarter.
I love you, Sloaney.
Sloaney. He may come on in a few minutes to rip on you just a little bit.
I love Sloaney.
All right. Reds baseball tonight. Scott, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Take a short break if a line becomes available. 513-749-7000. Bill Cunningham, 700 WLW.